Howdy, y'all. We're back for another week of Writer versus Artists. You'll notice that Mr. Rich is not here at the moment. That's because Rich is rich. And I am currently pouring my coffee as I sit here in the snow encrusted Arctic wasteland that is southwestern Kentucky right now. I think about the same can be said of Cookeville, Tennessee, where Rich hails from, because I think there's a power outage at his place and all kinds of goofy fun stuff. So, and I personally haven't been off the farm in like 3 days because snow, and I live very remotely where we don't get road surface on things. We don't get salt and stuff on the roads. So when the bad weather comes, we just hole up, which I'm perfectly fine with. So I'm going to take the first sip of this coffee, and hopefully we'll be ready to get going here soon. Normally Rich handles the cold opens, and he does all the kind of front end research work, looking folks up. But today is a special case, and you got me. So while I'm drinking my coffee for a second, you want to roll the intro, man? All right, folks. I'm going to take a look over here at the notes and see what we got going on. Who is this with us today? I see Blood and Banter #1 from, what is this kind gentleman's name?
This would be the always awesome, very amazing, great PR, greatest PR person you could ever meet in your life, Mr. Joey Galvez.
Joey Galvez. Joey, nice to meet you, man. First time making your acquaintance.
How's it going, Les? Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that intro. I appreciate that. I'm not going to say anything bad, but yes, I am Joey Galvez. I'm here on the artist side of things. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the book production side, because I believe book production artists are because this is artists versus writers, right?
Yeah.
I think the artist side today is going to win here, because it's all about the production.
Yep. That's kind of a running theme, actually, because I gripe about production stuff all the time, and I'm very production minded, which I think any artist in this business ought to be.
Yeah, listen, I was watching another episode, and we were talking about Rich is really he's all about the writer side, right? You're the artist, so we got that dynamic there.
Yeah, I am both an artist and a writer, but I mainly get, like, being an artist is what gets me paid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, especially these days. Yeah, and yeah, I feel like production artists are the last ones to send it off before it's into the consumer's hands. They're the most important to me.
Oh yeah, it's something like one company that I do a lot of stuff for right now. I'm actually kind of art directing for them. And so there's a lot of other artist stuff passing through my hands. And I have screamed to the high heavens about, I'm like, please don't hire any more cover artists without giving them the template for the cover.
Yeah.
They need to know the trim. They need to know the bleed. They need to know where the logo sits. They need to know where the indicia and trade dress sit.
And it's difficult too, right? Because different printers use different parameters, right? If you're going to be using, and then it also varies from single issues to square bound or perfect bound, and they all have different things. You can't use your same files from your single issues for your perfect bound. You have to adjust those a little bit, and it's really difficult sometimes to explain to, let's say, a writer, because they're not in that world, right? They're just sitting down writing.
Yeah.
So that's what you get for not being here, Rich. You can't stand up for yourself.
Yeah, sorry, Rich, but we're going to go off for a hot minute today. Yeah, writers do not understand. Do not understand. There's a reason the artists get paid. There's a reason. The amount of technical crap we have to know and be on top of, the amount of responsibilities we have to take care of. Sorry, it's like being an artist in this game means you are wearing probably half dozen different hats at any given moment.
Yeah. Listen, when I set out to do so like book production and things like that, I didn't think that I was gonna have to become like a logo artist. I was like, what the heck? I thought I was just gonna start laying out books and we were good. I was like, just set them up for print, and they were like, hey, can you make some logos? And I was like, oh man, okay, let's figure out how to do this stuff, right? So a lot of it's like also learning on demand as well, right? And I'm not the best at logos. I usually, if I can't figure it out myself, I'm like, okay, cool. I got a guy who he does logos a lot better than I can in half the time. So I'm like, I just, kind of give him a cut of what I get. So
I straight despise doing logos.
It's difficult.
I mean, it's like for me, logos are kind of like promotion, and I despise doing promotion. I'm just like, look, here's the book, buy it. I mean, I know that's probably kind of chintzy or blunt, but I'm just, by the time I have finished a book, I'm just like, okay, it's actually difficult to, what's the way to put it? I love every book that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I put a lot of heart in every book that I do.
Yeah.
And that's very draining. And the actual physical work of it is very draining by the end of the book. I mean, it's definitely not the most draining work I've ever done. But by the time it's done and it's all buttoned up and it's out there, man, like I've heard actors who complain, who have in moments of like candor have talked about the press tours and stuff and how they despise them because you've already done the work. You're done. You're done with the work. Now you've got to go out there and
do. Yeah, that's part of the business side of it, right?
You got to go out there and continue to be excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but my part,
it could be something that you did 2 years ago. You're like, oh, I gotta bring the excitement that I had when I first heard about it, like years and years ago when it was in production.
Yeah, like a great example coming up for me is I was very fortunate that my good friend Dirk Manning from Source Point, he and I did a book called Homestead that made it into the finalists for Ringo nominations. Or for Ringo we were one of the 5 finalists, and I won't get too salty about getting beat out.
Hey, congrats, man! That's still a fantastic feat.
But that book made it that far, having only been released on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, you mean we never released this in shops at all yet? And it's just now getting ready to be released in shops. So,
wow.
And like, I started working on that 3 years ago.
That's
like it was done and out. The Kickstarter was 2 years ago. And there's like some interviews and podcasts lining up for us to do promoting it, going into it coming out for stores. And I'm like, dude, I haven't cracked the cover on that thing in a year and a half. Like I barely remember a quarter of what I did on it except the cover.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, okay, well, let's do this. See where it lands.
It can be when you set out to do this kind of stuff. You're like, all right, cool. You may like the way I started was it was like I was a hobbyist, right? And I kind of still feel like I'm still a hobbyist, right? And I really loved getting into this stuff, but when I started learning the business side of it, it can be a headache and it can be a little scary because you have to, like you said with the actors, you have to go even further and learn a whole new side of this whole thing that you're doing because once you make it doesn't stop and it doesn't sell itself. You've gotta
you birth it, then you pimp it.
And listen, and even actors do it. They go out there and do these tedious things. That's why we get those funny, weird shows, right? You get those random shows. You're like, oh man, why did they rope themselves into this? It's because that content feeds them with our money, right? So it's. I mean, that's how it goes. It's the game you got.
Yeah, I've done this stuff professionally since 1993.
Oh wow.
So, and I was 19 when I started,
and it's changed, hasn't it?
Oh boy, howdy has it. Well, and the funny thing is like I got in right at the peak of 90s comicdom, and I got out at the trough of 90s comicdom.
Okay.
When it slid into the crapper, it became impossible for me to make a living at it. And I kind of was wily enough to like migrate those skills over and successfully transfer them over to doing storyboards for ad agencies.
Okay. Yeah.
And then from that, I taught myself animation, and then went into really taught myself 3D animation back then in code, and it ended up landing 3 different gigs as art director for these different media companies who were going into animation at the time. It's all cool stuff. All that to say, I ended up eyeballs deep in 3D modeling and animation for the next 20 some years. So I didn't come back to comics until really started sticking my toe in back in like 2013 or so, because I was working with Brian Haberlin on like I was being pulled back into. I was already in the orbit of comics because I worked with Alan Grant for a few years doing animations. I was animation director or technical director for a company that he worked with in England, and so I got to know him, and ended up putting me in touch with Brian Haberlin. Conversation with Brian one day about, man, I really kind of miss comics. You should be doing comics. Well, I guess if Brian Haberlin says you should be doing comics, you should be doing comics. So now I'm doing comics.
There you go.
It's totally weird now.
So how was the adjustment from being at the height of things and then going to like kind of figuring out, hey, I'm not making any money at this, like there's a moment where the other day I posed a question on one of our Facebook groups where talking about like pricing and do artists move and adjust with the economic realities that we are living with, and how when you start to see that you're not getting paid at the same rate that you were when you were getting a lot of jobs, right? You can still charge $500 for a cover, and if you're getting all that work still, keep going. But how do you adjust when you see that there's a little bit of decline in people wanting something at that price?
You adjust or die. I mean, you just that's what you do. For me, like if the ebb and flow is too much, because I've been around, like I've done special effects, animation for video, for broadcast, games, and film.
Okay.
And so like I've got, at the stage of the game that I'm in as a professional artist, I've got a lot of different areas and contacts and things. So I can tap dance around all kinds of stuff and make it all work. But like right now, I really don't do much 3D work at all. I'm almost 100% comics focused, because comics are being really good to me right now. But, but at the same time, there's an opportunity. It looks like it's opening up to be doing some animation, like a combination. There is no such thing as traditional animation anymore. It's all digital.
Mostly anything traditional anymore, right?
Yeah. And I'm not hating on any of that.
Yeah, no.
But because of my experience both in 2D animation and hand drawn animation, and with 3D, I've got a weirdly broad skill set that leaves me uniquely poised to like jump into all kinds of opportunities. So that's pretty much how I survived.
Yeah.
But comics have been since my book Apocalypse Girl came out in 2020. The collected edition came out in 2020, and then after that, we got Homestead up and running, and it finally came out. I think 23 it came out. 23 the Kickstarter hit anyway. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's at this point, like I think I've got this year there's like 10 or 12 books coming out that I've done. So, it's like you absolutely have to roll with the punches. You have to roll with whatever the economy looks like one way or another.
Yeah.
And that's diversify, be able to do different things,
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is, you had to adjust it and by teaching yourself how to do more than just the one thing.
Yep.
You had to, teach yourself animation. You had to do storyboards. You can do all these different things. But that's kind of how I did. I kind of
Hello, Eddie Von B.
How's it going, guys?
Garfwong.
That's how I
I
felt
like that name, Garfwong. That one's fun to say, Garfwong. Anyway, I did.
I fell into a lot of these different things that I do with my day job stuff. Is because I'm also I have many hats, right? Publishing, book production, PR, graphic design. I help people with market their Kickstarters and all that stuff. I think we helped you guys with one of the last ones that you guys did, and it's like I had to teach myself all those different things. I went from being a podcaster to getting really big interviews, and then landing a job at an independent publisher through the direct market, and then started doing all this stuff on my own. And it was a different kind of learning curve, right? I had to learn all this stuff. I had to teach myself graphic design. I had to teach myself how to lay out all these pages, and also that along the lines I had to figure out all the business side of the things and how to publish it and put it out there, and where all these crazy different things that come at you.
It's stunning the volume of stuff that you need to really wrap your head around to do this. Back when I started, I was 19 when I got in, and at the same time as I got into comics, I was also helping run a series of 3 airbrush shops.
Yeah.
So like I was spending my days with a drawing board with comic book pages on it. And whenever a customer would come up, I'd have to stop that, turn around and sling t-shirts and do whatever goofy airbrush shop crap you had to do. So, I've said for a long time too, to artists, I'm like, cause I get asked a lot of times, how are you so fast? Because I average about 4 pages a day when I'm in full production mode.
Yeah, that's fast.
I'll pencil and ink 4 pages a day.
Wow.
And I get asked all the time, how do you manage to pull that off? How are you so quick at all this stuff? And I'm like, go find yourself a high volume airbrush t-shirt shop on a beach somewhere.
Okay.
And beg and plead to get a job with them. So you have to do that for 6 months. If at the end of 6 months, you are not the fastest bitch drawing something, because when you've got and this has happened.
Orders,
when you've got your floor space split between grumpy bikers and itchy gangbangers.
Okay.
Because the place that I did this stuff, they literally both were in the same little neighborhood. And they would come in, and neither group liked each other.
Oh, good.
Neither group. They straight up, it was all side-eyeing each other, but they all loved the artwork I did for them.
Okay.
So there was a standing rule that there was peace in the airbrush shop.
Okay. All right.
And they'd come in, and there'd be one side was bikers and one side was with these guys. And I'd be like, all right, guys, you know the rules. I do one, then I do the other. I do one, then I do the other. And I bounce back and forth between these guys. Let me tell you, sometimes those guys would get itchy, and you're just like, man,
not today.
yeah. When you're dealing with those kind of people, and in that situation, it's like you better be fast and you better be good, because you do an RIP shirt for Pookie. Pookie better look damn like Pookie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was so they're asking if I was on the show. Yes, I had a show on the EXP. I did some PR and some social media marketing stuff for them as well back in the day. Yeah,
Joe,
love the EXP. Love the EXP.
yeah, tell me about the marketing thing, man, because I am a marketing moron. Like, just do not. Nope. No clue.
Well, it kind of came naturally because I mentioned that I started out as a podcaster, and I started doing that, and I found that I was like, okay, I left one podcast network and ended up going to another with my friends, and they ended up doing something different and then selling me the rights to the whole network. I took it, rebranded it, and then brought on a bunch of new shows. We added it to a whole roster of 150 shows on a big huge network that we are a sister network of. And so because of that, naturally, because we also offer ad space on all those podcasts, it was really easy for me to kind of learn from the marketing experts there from the podcast network. And it kind of, I dipped my toe into there, and I was like, well, I'm a comics guy. Everybody was starting to talk about Kickstarter, and it was around 2018, 2019. People were really kind of like bringing it back. I knew about Kickstarter a while back, like maybe like 7, 8 to 10 years ago, and I think I even got a couple of books from back then. And but what was cool about it is there was like kind of this really cool new resurgence of Kickstarter comics, and I really wanted to be part of that. So I was like, okay, cool. My friend Alan Dunford, who's a really good friend of Jay, asked me to help them out with some stuff, and so I've been doing it since they asked me, doing the comics and doing the PR stuff and marketing stuff for them since they asked me, like, what, 7, 8 years ago, and 10 years ago I dipped my toe into all this stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into all this stuff. But yeah, I had to learn on hand, and it was really rough trying to figure out how to do all this stuff. And then Kickstarter made all these crazy new changes, right? So that was even a learning curve, and I still am learning every single day. I'm not one person to say that I know everything about Kickstarter, and I can't guarantee somebody's success on there, but I can definitely give you a better chance on making sure that thing looks gorgeous. So because I'm going to make sure that thing has every single, like you said, you put yourself into every single project that you're part of. That's kind of how I live my philosophy too with this venture that I'm doing.
You sound like a guy that I need to talk to.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been you and I and Rich. We've kind of talked. I don't think we've really ever sat in front of each other and spoke. But there's been the emails and messages back and forth when I was working with you guys on all kinds of other different things. I think there was a couple of Kickstarter.
I think I irritate Rich. I probably irritate a lot of people with this. Like, I'm really bad about. I tell folks all the time, I'm like, if you want to reach me, message me on Messenger, and do it with a call so that it rings. Otherwise, I'll never see it.
Yeah.
Email will be buried under all the spam. Messages will be buried under God knows what. And most of the time, I'm just like, yeah, leave me alone. Don't care. Working. I spend most of my time just heads down working.
That's a lot of artists, man. They don't have a lot of time to lift their heads up and get into a conversation or market, right? So which is one of those reasons that I kind of really like doing this, because a lot of people I knew were artists and writers, and they like, I just want to have my head down and create. And I was like, well, I can take on the headaches and do this stuff because this is what I'm doing. I'm already kind of dipping my toe into it with this podcast stuff. Why not just kind of let's do it for comic books? And then that's kind of how we did it.
That's wild, man. So you're doing book production, and so what outside of the promotion stuff? Because I if I let myself, I will ramble on about that for a long time, because that is, to me, promotion and marketing are absolute black arts. I'm like, are you successful at this? Where did you sell your soul and how much?
And it's one of those things that's always changing, right? But there's always those key things in marketing that never change, right? So that's kind of my philosophy is you don't reinvent the wheel, right, to make it a wheel. you keep doing what works, right? And you just kind of you mold what your stuff is around what works, right?
The terrible. I'm so cynical. You have to forgive me. I am old and cynical.
All right.
Deeply. My
Let me have
idea of marketing, I'm like, oh, you want successful marketing? Put a set of boobs on it.
Well, and I mean, like, sometimes it works. People have used that, and it has worked on Kickstarter. But here's the thing: it's a difficult thing, right? Yeah, if you're just gonna slap some boobs on it, you'll get the people who just want something slapped on there, right? And it becomes this thing where what kind of project do you want to create? Do you want to create something that just slaps something on there that cash grab, so that you can do the passion project that you want to do, or how do you want your career to look?
It drives me nuts. I mean, I've done some stuff before where I've done some saucy pieces of artwork and some saucy covers.
Those are the ones you just do under a pen name to
and
get some money. I've done that
too. But so with comics, for the better part of 20 some years, nobody hardly knew what my real name was in all the stuff that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everything I did was under my business name of 6S1.
Yeah.
So, with comics, I'm like, these are my babies. I'm going to own this.
Yeah.
And with that is like, man, I'm really not. I have this weird thing about doing saucy content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it needs to have a purpose. I have no problem with nudity, but it has to be for a purpose. It has to serve the story that it's going into, and it can't just be like right now. I'm doing this Wizard of Oz horror series, and of course, there's a bazillion different ways that we could sauce it up and probably get more eyes on it.
Yeah.
And I really hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, the closest thing I've done on this is there's one cover that I did that was a painting of the witch. It's like a boudoir shot of the witch, like she's getting dressed and she's holding the slippers. And it's super tasteful. It's incredibly tasteful. And it's not even like fully, it's not a nude, it's a corset shot. But and that's as close, corset and panties, and that's as close as I've gotten to saucy.
Okay.
So that's honestly about as close as I like to get, really. But
so there's one that I'm working with, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna drop this into the chat for Jay so that he can pop it up there. This one, and it kind of goes along with what you're saying here. This one's going to be coming out very soon, from a team that I've been working with. We just finished up a book that's called Remember, and I helped them co-publish that along with all the other things that I do. I also help publish books. I also publish my own books. I have my first book that I help co-write, and it's my creation, and there's a couple other things that we got coming out this year. We could talk about that later. But this one is called The Contract. And it's a NSFW mystery thriller. This one's what if I make your fantasy come true and make you pay for it? So this one's a saucy one, right? And like you're saying, I saw the pages for the first time last night. They sent me the pages. They said, okay, all pages are done. Check it out. Here's the unlettered. Here's the lettered pages. And this thing is like. Listen, I don't think I've seen listen, I'll just say it like this. Arizona recently made it not illegal for you to view pornographic material, but they make you have to enter in your information and all this stuff, and you have to go through hoops, right? It would be blocked by those things if this was a website. That's all I'm gonna say is this would be some of the graphic stuff. And I've never worked with this is like graphic stuff. But it serves its purpose, right? There's this whole thing is kind of like there's like this mystery thriller going on throughout this whole entire thing, and it deals with people who have to sign a contract in order to get what they want, but what they want is actually not, it's all a ruse, because there's a bigger picture of who actually is actually getting what they want in the end. And it's a fantastic story. It's by Patrick, our friend Patrick. He's got a book with this is Jonathan Hedrick is the writer, and Patrick D. Foreman is the creator of this one, and it's a fantastic story. That one's coming up soon.
Well, I just hit the notification thing on it, so I will.
It's really cool. This don't open it up in front of your family members. If that's all I'm gonna say. But yes,
it's funny. I mean, like, some of my favorite comics, and I may be like, I don't know, putting a mark on myself for saying this. Like, some of my favorite comics are old comics that Simon Bisley did with Verotic. And that stuff is, boy, howdy, is it off the chain. It is like, woo, blow your hair back and throw your eyeballs out, man. But I like a lot of crazy stuff. I just am very particular about, does this fit the story? Is this, are you doing it for the sake of doing it? Because boobies sell things.
Yeah.
Or, is there something, I mean, because I'm a horror guy, and horror, sex and horror go together. That's chocolate and peanut butter right there.
Yeah.
So,
which we'll talk about that too, because my book coming up here soon is going to deal with a lot of that stuff. It's going to deal with someone being insatiable. So, yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh my God. Oh,
some stuff. I think Jay's trying to get us to take a break.
Oh, is it break time, Jay?
Yes, sir. I was a little late because I was just listening to the conversation.
Oh, that's all right, man. Yeah, you want to fire that off, man? Let her rip.
Boring old Tuesday.
Kick it! Anyway, let's get to it.
Henri Copen scours collections and comic shops to bring you the biggest deals on beautiful comics.
I'm very eager to sell these books.
Plus, he smashes those other boring sales shows. Henri's got fire, excitement, personality, key books, Momo books,
Pixie! Momo books for you.
a cute dog, weird accents,
69, bro!
a wheel of skid bark.
They do wheel spins at the end of every show.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll score huge bargains.
That is Haktua magic right there, all right?
Kicking it with Henri, Tuesday nights, part of the experience.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below. Download our app on Google Play and the App Store. It's so simple, even my mommy can use it.
In a world where you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
That'd be really great, thanks.
All right. So, oh man, we have returned, and we are back here with Mr. Joey Galvez, and talking about projects and productions and all kinds of fun stuff. So, Mr. Joey, what's your current project that you personally are working on that you're like, really excited about.
So my personal project is called is called I Need Your Skin. It follows Nora Perkins, who has a fear of aging, but she believes a clairvoyant can help her for a small piece of her flesh. That one's it's gonna be gonna be a mini series. The writer, co-creator and writer is Alan Dunford. He's done all kinds of really stuff. Jay loves the guy. Jay actually is one of the guys that got me into these guys before. And excuse me, and this and then I help him co-write this one, and we just literally just finished it the other night. Our artist Brian Blondo, he's an amazing artist from the Philippines, and he did an amazing job on this one. And
another Filipino artist, huh?
Yeah, finished it up last night. We're gonna send it over to our pal David Lentz, who's done all kinds of really great stuff.
Dave did the lettering on Homestead.
Yep, he worked with you guys as well, so he is gonna be doing the lettering for us. I think you guys are probably, you guys took our place in his schedule line there. Just kidding.
Oh, that was 2 years ago.
So no, we're on his schedule, so we're gonna get that one lettered and sent.
The gentleman who's doing the coloring on the Oz series with us is named Omi Ramalante. Mm-hmm. He's a Filipino. It tickles me that I run into so many Filipino folks in the comic book business because my wife is Filipino.
That's awesome. There's a lot of really great Filipino artists. Yeah,
we're looking at possibly we've still got some stuff to come back on it, but there's about a 85-90% chance that my wife and I, along with the publisher of Oz, will be doing the Manila Comic Con this year.
Very cool. That's awesome. Do you guys go there a lot, or?
No. She actually was raised in Middletown, Ohio.
Okay.
So like she's very much an American girl, mm-hmm. but her mother is Filipino, and it's a whole thing. She's been back a few times. We haven't been together there yet, so I'm looking forward to that.
I don't know if I could do the plane ride, man. That's like a long. Listen, I'm a wimp when it comes to flying in planes. I can't sleep because I have this weird reoccurring nightmare of falling out of the sky when I'm in there. I'm like, no, please, no, not while I'm in this thing.
Dude, I can sleep anywhere. I don't care. You can throw me under a bus and I'll just nap.
I might need some drugs or something for that one.
No, but I will absolutely make sure that I have myself about 2 big bowls of beer chili before we take that flight. Because it's like, you know what? Just cause.
It's a lot, man. And sitting in one place that long and in a small little tube, I don't know. I just can't.
Oh my god! Well, I was like, I'm a big dude, and that tiny little bathroom on an airplane is just like, I'm like, are you shitting me? This is just not right.
This is not right for big guys. There's not a lot of things these days made for big guys, man.
So somebody can leave some luggage at home so we can make this thing a little bigger here.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just go take a dump in the cargo hold, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Working on that one. We're working on getting that to everybody. So yeah, let's move the conversation.
Oh man, sorry, I get a little slap happy later in the day, man.
You're good. I'm just messing around. But yeah, man, that's what I do. I'm just kind of working on that thing. We're gearing up for issue 2 coming up very soon. I've got me and Alan are scripting that one right now in the process, and we're hoping to get 2 and 3. We're working on 2 and 3 at the same time, so that we can hopefully try to get them both out this year on Kickstarter, and then after that we're gonna see how far we're gonna go with it, because we got an idea to keep it, to maybe cap it at 3 or go till 6. I think that's what we talked about. So nice. We got an idea of where we can fit that in 6 issues. But we're gonna see how it goes with these next two Kickstarter campaigns.
Well, that is nice. That's really cool. What all kinds of stuff you were talking about? That what was the name of that project? Out for it.
That one's I Need Your Skin, and that we did that one already. We already ran that one Kickstarter, but the next one that I'm working on with excuse me. So we do PR and help people run Kickstarters. So this is one of the ones that we do, and it's called Blood and Banter. And let me see. I didn't have the information up in front of me. I got to pull it up. See, this is where my I messed up my whole PR thing because I didn't have this one memorized. That's messed up, huh? Because I usually have this stuff memorized. I'm like, all right, I got it in my head. I already got this log line down. But this is a 28-page supernatural horror comedy. It's set in the neon underbelly of New Orleans. It follows a centuries-old sarcastic vampire and 2 voodoo-powered monster hunters. And you're definitely going to want to check this one out. This one's going to have
right up my alley right there.
This, yeah, I figured it was going to be up your alley because you got a centuries-old sarcastic vampire who literally he was the first of his kind, and it was literally there before time, before history could even be written, and he looks at this world as just this hilarious idiots walking around everywhere, and so and they're all basically food to him. So and you can just tell it's going to be one of those fun horror comedy. It's really cool looking. It's got some really great looking cartoon kind of like artistic feel to it. So definitely one of those great comedy horror books that you're going to want to pick up.
There was a novel that I read a few years back. I'm going to see if I can find it. It was something like Fat White Vampire. Seriously.
I love when they have fun with these titles.
Oh yeah. And
what's funny is the title for my book, I Need Your Skin. Alan always tells the story because we were coming up with it. I hated the name, but it's such a good name. And I'm just like, holy crap, dude, how dumb was I when I first started? I said, no, I hate it. No.
So that reminds me a little bit tonally of this novel called The Fat White Vampire Blues.
Mm-hmm.
That is set in New Orleans with this fat white vampire, and it's hilarious. All this stuff about like he'll dine on people who have had like his favorite po' boy sandwich that he used to stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's New Orleans, and all the time it's like you can just hear the guy in the dialogue, and he's like, it's like I don't have to be this way, but I just like feeding on the people here in New Orleans with diabetes is like a way of life. It's just terrible.
This vampire, his name is Jerry, and he hates Dracula. He's like F Dracula. Dracula was wrong. Like all those things. Like it's hilarious.
Oh God. Well, that's been my bread and butter. A lot of this year has been my book Brides.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it.
I love that
Brides.
One.
We did pretty well on Kickstarter with the first one, and the second one's written. I've got it written and about to start production on the artwork soon. So we'll be moving forward with that. But it's just funny to me because like Dracula is a big central figure of it.
Yeah.
And I really should like branch off and do a vampire comedy thing sometime because I always write these kind of melodramatic, gothic, over the top sort of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice every once in a while just get some fat white vampire blues going on.
Yeah, and I think we need to start wearing our F Dracula shirts when we talk to Rich.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Well, vampire crap is what got me and Rich together because I ended up doing a cover for, I think it was Rise of Dracula. I think it was Rise of Dracula number 2.
Dracula.
Yep. And then I ended up drawing all of Reign of Dracula, which still kind of in limbo. That one didn't go as well as I would have liked, but there it was. So you got Blood and Banner. So what kind of stuff you working on production wise? Because that seemed like a something that probably takes up a lot of your focus.
Yeah, so production wise, we just wrapped up the hardcover for Remember, which is also it's a detective noir kind of thriller, where it deals with generational hatred and and revenge at the rate of revenge that people would go to and to make sure that generational hatred ends, so things of that nature. So that's one of the books that we did. We wrapped up the whole series on that one, and that one's going to production with the hardcovers, and we're going to be possibly doing a couple more runs on those ones with some really cool extras and stuff like that. And then right now I'm just helping some friends do some production. I got one that with a friend that does that's it's called Kid Cretaceous. It's a kid's comic book about a little girl and her dinosaur, and they are superheroes. So that one's really fun.
Yeah.
One. So I'm doing some really fun. That one's really fun because I get to like do some kind of like have a little bit more of a whimsical kind of vibe with my design work, my book design and stuff, because usually I'm like doing these really dark tones and these really horror kind of tones, or these really thriller murdery kind of things, right? And because when I do the production, I really want to make sure that the things that I do fit the tone of the book, right? Because I can't just do a blanket thing for all these different books. I have to know the book, I have to read it, I have to feel it. and so I kind of try to give that back into the book as well. So it's really fun kind of doing these different kinds of things, these more whimsical kind of stories and fun little things, and bright colors and pinks and oranges and blues and things of that nature. So rather than these really dark grayscales and sepia tones. So
I think it's neat how often, 30 years into this stuff, I've always been very much, eyeballs deep in the horror side of things.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting how often folks who are in horror, their side projects, like if horror's their main gig, their side projects,
Mhm.
I would say 2/3 of the time are kids' projects.
Yeah, we want to get a little bit of that contrast, right?
It's like, oh my God, how much gore do I have to draw today? Hey, look, here's a fun dinosaur. It's like,
Yeah.
But it seems weird. Like folks who are outside the bubble don't get it, and it could seem weird, but it actually makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you want to change your mind a little bit, right? When I think creatively, like right now, I'm trying to really kind of hone in like this feeling of somebody taking over your body, or somebody, this entity honing, like taking you over, because that's what I Need Your Skin is about, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm going back and watching these really cool shows that I used to watch. Right now I'm watching Falling Skies, and I don't know if you know about that show. It's about post-apocalyptic world.
I think I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, some years ago, I watched a little of that.
Yeah, so if you've watched it, that a lot of the people in there, they get taken over by some of these aliens. Their bodies are taken over, and they have to speak through them, right? And it's this big, huge, tall, slanky, character, and we have one of those in our book. So I'm really trying to get this idea of how to portray a character who's being taken over, and the contrast between who they really are and when they speak, when that entity speaks through them, right? And you can actually really see when these, how good these actors are portraying those two different things. And they even changed the way they speak and the different tonality that they use when they're in their pronunciations and things of that nature. So I'm really trying to kind of hone in on some things like that, so that when we go to script this thing, I've got this kind of mindset.
It sounds like fun, man. It sounds like some interesting stuff to get into. Yeah. So we usually do some things on here where we're like chit-chatting, obviously, about the the tension between writers and artists. And I'm curious, what would you say is like your number one beef that you've had with artists, like in general or specifically? I never ask people to name names because I hate that kind of crap. I don't really like this sort of thing.
I know we had fun at the top of the show, and we were like, versus writer, writers are going to win and all this fun stuff. But honestly, in reality, right? Comic books is a highly collaborative project. everybody has their fingers and toes and everything in everything, and because of that, you are more grateful when it's finished, right? And I just want to make sure that I say that outright. You know, I like to have fun, but still, I want to make sure that everybody has credit where credit's due, right? So everybody who, you know, is part of this book is a essential part of this book, or any book that I'm part of. But with that said, I think it's not more of a beef, but I think one of the things that I notice a lot with artists is making sure that your ratios, your parameters at which you are setting your artwork fits not only the project but fits the printer that they're going to use. So because we could do the 11 by 17 and all that fun stuff, right? But not every printer has those exact, parameters or those ratios set up exactly to where your artwork could be. So make sure before you even put a pen to page, check with your team and see who they're going to work with, find out how they set up their files really quick, and then make sure all your stuff is within that range, because they are going to cut some stuff off. And if there's a foot that is very, very pertinent and you need that foot and it's cut off, and you need that person, that maybe there's a reason why somebody got kicked in that face, but if it's going to get cut off, it's in the bleed.
That's why there's
not even a
I've found through the years that there's kind of a general area. What's the way to put it? Like, I just go into things like, okay, look, I know if I have a tolerance of X, it's probably going to be good. Like, I'll do an 11 by 17 page, and you will rarely find me shove something outside, into the half inch around the edges of it.
That's smart.
Because that half inch, it may be an 1/8 of an inch trim, it may be a 1/4 of an inch bleed, it may be a 1/4 of an inch trim and 3/4 bleed. You don't know.
But you also have to remember, do it on the inside too, just a tad, because when you go to, and it depends on how long this book is going to be, right? If you're going to have a series that's going to go to a square bound, and you drew that artwork to fit single issues, it's going to be really hard to make sure that everything's all set in place when it goes to square bound. And the bigger that the book is, the harder it is that you have to make sure that everything sits in that right place.
Because I run my own blue line pages off of my printer here, and all my blue line pages, they'll have I don't even remember what the numbers are anymore. I've just been using the same thing for so long. It'll be 1/4 inch trim, then another, it's a quarter, and then there's like another quarter past that is labeled live area.
Yeah.
And that live area is really what you want to work in. And like, you can go outside that, but it's not wise.
But a tiny bit, right? Because there's some, like, we're getting into the weeds here because people don't know what we're talking about, but there's this line, right? And then there's at least 2 and 1 other line above that. But if this is your live area above here, you can go in there, a quarter way or halfway, but there's going to be a cutoff spot. And if that's really at that edge, you got to be very careful.
Yeah, there's let's see. Hold on just a second. And
actually, what's funny is today I have to go and talk to some creators because they sent me an ad page to add into their book, right? But when I put the ad page in there, the text is way too high, and it's actually way past that bleed, way past that live area, and it's like that all the way around. And I can play with it and do some kind of color matches and things like that, but it becomes really, really difficult, like when I don't have the original files, or if they send it to me in JPEG, right? Oh, I hate JPEG.
I popped up on the screen. You can see, like, even though I work digital a lot of times, I still have my 11 by 17 blue line template that I use for everything, and it's really patterned off of the Blue Line Pro paper from back in the 90s, because that stuff was pure gold. Loved that paper, and ended up actually the company that published that gave me some of my earliest work in comics, because they also publish comics. Really good people. blew my mind to find out that they were also from Kentucky.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny. But yeah, there's my particular template. I don't know how well you can see the actual outer line there, but
yeah, the dotted line there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a thing that, you know, has been kind of part and parcel of my life for a long damn time.
Yeah, and what's fun about that, right? You can use, and especially if you guys are going to use that blue line, right? Give it to everyone on the team, right? Like, give that blue line to everybody on the team so that they all know this is what we're all working with, guys. Because your letterer needs to know that live area, your production artist needs to know that live area. So if that blue line follows the process all the way across, you're not gonna have any problems, right? But when it gets to this point where like you have so many different people, you know, handing it, over, there's gonna be a lot of hands touching these things. So you just got to make sure that you're tracking these and also making sure that everybody is working within that area. And if you don't give them that information, then how are they have to, figure it out on their own. And that's when it becomes, when people start to guess, you can't really guess when it comes to parameters on a book, because it's really difficult to fix something when it's already been done.
Yeah. And I mean, good Lord, if you don't have somebody there catching that stuff, then you do not want to get, you don't want to end up with a crate of books sitting on your doorstep where you've got like 300 copies of something that's bad.
Yeah.
Boy, would that suck.
And then the whole nightmare is making sure that when they get to you, that if there was a shift in the printing process, and then there's pages are cut sideways, and you're like, oh gosh,
oh dude, with what was it?
Or sometimes you got to be careful, because even the printers will change your files. So if you change your files, I had a printer do that before, where I sent them the correct files. All my stuff was in that live area, but when they went to go print it, it was in the fold. And I said, "Come on, guys, what? I sent you the right stuff. What do you guys? Don't change my work."
Yep.
I work with.
I tend to get pretty anal about double checking after all that kind of stuff. With and then with brides. We ended up being 6 weeks later than we intended with fulfillment on it, which we were still fulfilling really quick. But we ended up being 6 weeks late because the first shipment of books came in and 3/4 of them were damaged.
Yeah, it's rough.
I was pissed. Like, seriously, we went through all this trouble and you numbnuts couldn't buy, oh man.
Yeah.
It's such a roll of the dice when your books are getting shipped in.
Yeah,
but we got it all taken care of. That was good. The printer made us whole on that, so that came out all right. So, all right, man. I am so not the saucy guy on this show. I really am not. Like Rich is always ready to get into it with stuff, and I'm just like. I don't really do that. No, I'm more of the reactor on things because, I think a lot of times, something might get said, about artists or whatever. And I tend to go to bat for my fellow artists pretty damn hard because I think that, a lot of times folks don't realize just what a bear this stuff is to do sometimes. And oh my God, and definitely to make a living at.
Definitely. Like I think I would say, it's a highly collaborative project. A comic book is, everybody has their part in it. And I think, at the end of the day, I don't think one person is more important than the other. Right. I think we all have our position. We all have our quality checks, I guess, right? Because there's things at certain points that people do. They do their own quality checks. There's one at artists. There's one at writing, art, and then lettering, coloring, lettering, and then your very final one is your production artist, right? And they're the ones that are checking over everybody's work and making sure everything's fits and good to go. So I think everybody has their own complete importance, right, to everything that they do in this type of process. So
when I came back to comics and did my book Apocalypse Girl, I went into that with the goal. I was like, okay, I've been out of it for 20 some years. I'm doing the whole thing. So writer, penciler, inker, letterer, colorist, cover, paint, all of it.
How'd that go?
Great, actually.
Yeah.
And the same is true with Brides. On Brides, mine are the only hands that touch that book.
Okay.
And it's like it's weird because I will oftentimes get somebody I know, which I know a lot of different people. So I'll find somebody and be like, hey, will you double check me on this?
And that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, but you had to send to somebody to double check, right? Because you get honed in and you see that thing all day long, you're gonna miss something. We're only human.
Dude, with Brides #1, I knocked out a 40-page book in under a month.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's all the work. That's every last ounce of it.
Wow.
And by the time that month was done, I was like, I'm working like 14-hour days because I
look at it.
I set these stupid goals for myself of like, it's like, I'm going to get this much done by this.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Yep. We're going to do it. And then, and I like that. And that brings to mind, what kind of, what's your mindset like when it comes to like setting goals for things,
Like
that's something like Kickstarters, productions, time frames on things. I meet a lot of folks in this, especially in the indie world of it, especially with folks who it's not their bread and butter, who are like, well, it's like I kind of work on it, and there's this whole kind of free flowing sort of thing a lot of times with people, and I'm like, how do you get anything done?
I know. Listen. So I have ADHD, right? And because of that, if I don't make myself a list, I won't get anything done. So what I do is I put a list, and then my wife is attached to that list so that she can hold me accountable. And then so I do that, and then it also helps because I have to take my children to where we also have 3 autistic children, so we have to take them to therapies throughout the day. So it helps me to wake up every morning, to take a shower, get dressed, put my shoes on, and come to my desk and do some work. And after I'm taking them, dropping them off. So it helps me to be productive by being productive, getting up and waking up and doing things during the day, and then in the middle of the day, if I need to take run some errands, I could do that. But I also make sure that everything is in a list, and I tick it off as I work, and I have it daily, and I also have it weekly, and I'm also trying to get myself to work to get a list or calendar out for a whole month, so that I can have everything there set up, and so that I can have it all right then and there. And I feel like I'm more productive when I do that, and make
that is something that you and I share. And I find that that's something that like people who tend to get who have a lot of productive output tend to do that.
It can be really hard, and that's why a lot of people are like, I need an assistant, right? It's like, because you need somebody to take these things down, to schedule you out, and to
I actually have an assistant. I don't keep her busy like all the time, but during periods when I've got like Kickstarters going, and especially during convention season, between her and my wife, it literally takes 2 women to keep my head on straight.
That's usually how it is, right, with those guys. I'm right there with you, man. My wife is the one that holds me accountable. Our children's godmother, she's even attached to the calendar and things like that. She's like, hey, you guys know you have this going on, right? We're like, okay.
Yeah, you need one lady to scream at you and another one to slap the piss out of you when you complain about the one who screamed at you.
Right, exactly. That's a good one. Yep. And so the moral of the story, guys, the actual winner and person that wins this whole entire thing is the women of this world.
Oh man, don't get me started on that one, man. The ladies got a little ripcord on you. They're just like, yeah, here we go.
Yep.
They'll tug at that leash pretty hard.
They are definitely my parachute. My butt.
Well, I am thinking that Rich is probably not going to be joining us since
Probably not.
it seems like he's probably still having the power outage thing. I'm surprised that mine's actually stayed on through all this.
Yeah.
But y'all can't see it, but I'm actually sitting here wearing my hunting overalls because it's so cold in here.
I'm getting warm over here in Arizona.
Oh, dude, Arizona. Yeah. Well, you know what you got that we don't? Scorpions. So there.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, but we do have armadillos now.
Oh, fun. That's fun.
That's a wild one. That's a wild one. Yeah. When I moved to Western Kentucky, I come from Eastern Kentucky, and Kentucky is a pretty large. Well, Arizona's large. People don't realize how large the states in the United States are. They just have no clue. And like it's a 6-hour drive from here to where I come from on the other end of the state. Mm-hmm. When I got here, and I'm like, was that an armadillo? I thought we didn't get those east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know anything about armadillos, man. I mean,
they're nasty.
I'm in the city, man. So I don't like the only thing we get is pigeons.
Oh God, that reminds me when I lived near New York, was in the city a lot. We used to, this is so cruel. People are gonna be like, "Oh my God, he hurts animals." I know, dude. They're New York pigeons. Trust me. Yeah. There was a sport back in the 90s called pigeon punting. Oh. Because you go to cross the street in midday Manhattan, and there was so damn many pigeons in the crosswalk.
They don't move there though.
Yeah, the pigeons are like, no, you move. And you're just like, okay, what?
Yeah, but yeah, we're not. See, look, we don't have pigeons who just out here in Arizona, because like there's in New York, there's everywhere. They are everywhere. People are walking through them. They're so used to everyone that they don't even move. Here, Arizona, they move, but nobody's walking around, so everybody's in their cars. So it's like,
dude, I've seen pigeons in New York so fat from people feeding them bread. They're so fat they couldn't fly. I'm like, seriously, son, you just became squab. Okay, somebody's gonna eat that pigeon.
That's hilarious.
I bet you guys got some hellacious buzzards out there.
Yeah, in the summertime you got those. Yeah, there's a lot of hawks out here though. I seen a hawk pull a bird out of the sky one time. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's wild.
And it like landed right, like we were at a stop sign too, and it just like stopped like right in front. I was like, oh, that happened. Okay, cool.
I'm always a little nervous letting I have 2 dogs. One of them's a beagle, cutest little fat fart ever. I'm always a little nervous letting him out. I'm actually getting kind of glad that he's getting kind of porky, because it's like, well, it looks like you're finally getting heavy enough that I don't have to worry about an owl flying off with you.
That's hilarious.
All right. Well, I think Jay's about ready for us to pop off another break. So if you want to take it away, Jay, we'll come back, and I think we may end up wrapping this up before too long. So you want to take us out and cut the break, Jay?
Yes, sir. Here we go. Stick around, everybody.
Booyah.
Symphonic verses, Nocturne's romance. A song of romanticized darkness, dreaming death by sleep.
FOC,
a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience.
We know you probably get a lot of emails, but could you please make sure to sign up for our mailing list? We don't send a lot of emails, and we try not to bother you. We just want to give you the best information about all the cool stuff that's going on around here. Sign up on our website, theexplive.com. Did you know that Arthur, King of the Britons, in Monty Python and the Holy Grail was played by a famous Graham? Check out another famous Graham by following our Instagram.
All right, and let me just kill my Clip Studio screen.
You know, my mom almost named me Graham. No, just kidding.
Oh, well, now
you guys got us for an hour and a half, man. That's how it goes.
Oh Lord. Well, my official hour and a half time is up here in about 15 minutes. So I guess I can hang out for that.
So okay, so obviously you would go for the artist in the writers versus artist every time.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, because it's comics. Comics is a visual medium. If the art sucks, if the artist is not doing their job, there is no book. There just is no book. So, you know,
I guess Rich would say, well, if there's no writer, there's no book.
He'd say, if there's no writer, there's no story. Well, that's not entirely true. And people will, I mean, you can actually put out
a silent comic, right?
You can have a silent comic. You could artists put out books of just their art and do all right with it quite frequently. So
yeah, there's a lot of I own artist books of all their work, and it's literally just a bunch of pages of their their concept art.
That's one of the things I'm hoping to get out this year, actually, is to get out a book or two of some of the body of work that I have, because it's been so damn long. But it's I always feel like, when this conversation happens, whether it's Rich or anybody else, a lot of times writers are very protective of their role in things, and I get that, totally get that. But it's like the artist is who brings them in. I'm thinking like I'm trying to think of a movie that I can compare it to. For some reason, the first Sin City movie came to mind. It's like, Jessica Alba pulled them in. It was Bruce Willis and Mickey Rourke who kept people actually watching the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, she was hot. She was nice to look at. But it was these guys who were driving the story that actually made it a thing.
Yeah.
But, as the artists, we're the ones who got to get those people. We got to hook them and get them in. And, if we can hook them and get them in, then at that point, it's like, okay, writer, keep them. Can you keep them? That's your job. Writer's job is retention. Artist's job is the hook and reel them in.
Yeah. And the dialogue is part of that too. And And then what would you say your production artist would be with that? Just make sure that everything's set and ready to go. Everything.
Well, the production artist is basically the babysitter.
Okay. All right.
Because,
I can see that.
Because you got a crew of freaking toddlers who are all throwing their peanut butter at each other.
Yeah. You know what?
You got to clean up the mess and tell them all to behave.
You know what? I can relate to that. That's all I'm going to say. No, like you're absolutely right. And it kind of goes back to how I was talking about how everybody has their importance in different stages of the production process of a comic book. Right, writers, you know, they have the dialogue, they're kind of directing where everybody's going to be going with the story, right? And then you have the actual sight, the actual vision of the camera. You're the camera, right? And then the letters, obviously the dialogue, right? And then we kind of go on with colors, and it kind of goes with the tonality of it, everything, and then finally you got the production artist who is, you know, crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, and making sure everything it fits and flows the way that everybody planned it to be. And if everybody's hitting their points and their marks at the right time, then you got a really good looking book.
One of the things that I'm seeing more of, and I'm not mad at it, is roles being combined. So like a guy in the production artist slot like you are, I see you guys oftentimes being production/editorial.
Okay.
Because you're like proofreading and checking stuff at the end. Literally
very last moment,
doing what editors do. You know, there's I often see the letterer also being an editor. You know, because they're proofreading and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's become more and more common for, you know, to just have an artist on a book instead of penciler, inker, and colorist, because you know so many books now are done digitally that, you know, it just opens it up where a single artist oftentimes will do 2 or 3 of those jobs. Like I have a book right now that I'm working on that I'm just a penciler on, but I'm penciling it digitally and handing blue lines off to the inker, which is neat and cool. And I'm excited to see what he does with it.
Yeah.
But if it weren't for the opportunity to work with this inker, I probably would have pushed to just do finished pages, because it takes almost the same amount of time for me to pencil as it does to ink. And I'm like, shoot me the difference in pay on the pages, and you're going to get your pages back way faster.
I can see that, because if you're doing pencils and ink, you could probably do a lot of that together, right?
Like when I'm doing, if you watch some of the live streams that I've done, which there's, I have a show on another network that I'm at, like tomorrow will be like episode 86.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And usually every week I'm on there drawing stuff. And a lot of times, like my pencils for a page that I'm doing the finishes for, the pencils are almost non-existent. They're pretty much just perspective guides and stick figures, maybe a little bit of volumetric stuff here and there. And then I'm just like, okay, give me the pen, start slinging.
And a lot of the guys that I see that do both, that's exactly what they do. They just go and do their rough thumbnails real quick, and then just get in there, and because when they go in there, they're inking it with all the lines, they're cleaning it, and then you also, if you're also a colorist, you know, doing all 3, a lot of times you can go back and do all 3, you know, panel by panel, or however your process goes. You play around with it and you kind of feel how it fits to your needs.
Well, I am a massive fan and daily user of but close Clip Studio. Clip Studio Paint. I'm just like that. Like Clip Studio Paint is I'm in that more. I don't even use Adobe products hardly anymore.
Okay.
Barely touch Adobe.
A lot of I hear that from artists. A lot of artists are moving to Clip Studio Paint. But my I listen. I use a lot of Adobe. I use everything Adobe, right? Because of everything that I got to do. I have to have all of that, and I wish I didn't have to, and there was something better, because I'm spending anywhere from $200 to $400 a month for this.
Yep.
Stuff.
And that's why when my subscription comes around, the Adobe subscription is canceled. I've gone to using Affinity.
Okay.
Like
everybody keeps telling me that too, and I'm like,
yep.
okay, but
Affinity Publisher is almost.
Is it a lot? Is it a learning curve? Because I know all the prompts, I know everything, and somebody told me you can literally use all of Adobe's Photoshop or
almost everything from Photoshop, Illustrator, and was it PageMaker?
InDesign?
Or no, InDesign. Yeah.
Yeah. And
almost
that's all
everything.
I use all three of those.
Yeah, and Affinity is like one app with 3 different rooms to it. Okay. That is Affinity Pixel, Vector, and Publisher.
Okay.
And each one of those, you just choose which one you're in. You have one document that floats through all 3, and it's
that's why my friends are like, you should try it, man. Try it out.
Oh,
like,
it is maybe
I will
silky smooth.
If I could save that much a month, man.
And it's 100% free. 100%
I could put that
free.
I could put all of that back into books. No, just
the last 4 books that I've set up. I mean, I've drawn them, because I set up most of the books that I work on. And the last 4 books that I've set up to go to print, I've set up through Affinity, and no problems.
Okay, here's my question though: Do they export? How do they export? Can you still
export? Is whatever you want, literally whatever you want.
I might be looking into it because
I'm like, you want to save yourself a couple $100 a month? Right there's where you go. And for me, like I used to use the big Adobe suite, because of animation and video and blah 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 blah.
Because I also do trailers, video trailers for
I do too
as well. So
I will never touch an Adobe product for video again.
Really? What do you use?
DaVinci.
Okay.
And you can use DaVinci for free, and if you want the full version, it's a one-time $300 purchase.
I was looking into that one, and then I was looking into Filmora too, because I was looking into some kind of
you want, trust me, between the two, you want DaVinci.
And DaVinci is the one that I keep pushing me towards, but that one's more like a.
So inside DaVinci, you have DaVinci. They did a thing similar to Affinity, where DaVinci is actually, I think, 5 different programs.
Okay.
But you open up DaVinci Resolve. That's the thing. And if you're in the pro version, it's called Resolve Studio. Both of them have the same. The only difference is that there's certain bells and whistles that are locked off to the pro side. There's like some AI related processing tools that are just amazing, like for doing motion tracking and stuff.
Oh yeah, I love that. So you don't have to key it all yourself.
Yeah, it's got AI assisted motion tracking that it processes in the cloud.
Where you would have to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes to do all that yourself.
Yeah, and it's just like tick 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 tick, runs it right through. I mean, I'm okay. Yeah, but
that's the stuff that we need AI for, to do the tedious things, right? Like keying is really difficult sometimes if you don't know, and then there's some, but when you figure it out, there's some really cool fun things that you could do with it, right? And tracking and keying together, like you can do so much fun stuff with that,
dude. I used to work as an effects guy, man. That's some stuff that's near and dear to my heart.
Speaking to your soul.
I actually have a side project that this is so funny. There's a side project that is why I got into all of the animation, film effects. It is the reason, and it's. When I was a kid and the very first Star Wars Expanded Universe stuff came out, first comics, first books, like Timothy Zahn books, that sparked, like, as a kid, I loved the comics and all this kind of stuff, but that's what really said to me, man, I could do my own Star Wars stories. I could do my own Star Wars thing and put it out there and folks might dig it. And ever since I was a kid, I've had this concept for a Star Wars story, which really should be a fan film, that I finally about 2 weeks ago, over a weekend 2 weeks ago, wrote it as a script. And it's a story called Non-Essential.
Okay.
Where the main character, I'll set this up for you. So the thing would open. You just close your eyes and visualize this. So the opening, the screen goes from black to looking at this asteroid. For comparison, there's little ones floating around. It's a big ass asteroid. And as it turns, you see that there's a space station embedded in the side of it, almost like it's hidden there.
I can see
and there's a couple of ships floating in and out. So then you go in, and then as the shot tracks in, a ship comes in from off screen, classic Star Wars style underneath, and then you hook up and follow that ship till it lands. Okay. Character gets out, hooded character. Is it a Jedi? What is it? Don't know. Follow the character in. You find out that this place is kind of like Mos Eisley, but built into the side of an asteroid. It's it's an underbelly dive kind of, and this character goes in, sits down to talk with a guy who's in this dark corner, and the conversation is basically, look, I need proof. Convince me that you can get the job done. And the guy's like, you need convincing. And the person is like, yeah, I need to know you're not going to rat me out to what's left of the Empire or the New Alliance. And the guy's like, well, let me tell you why you can trust me. And then it goes into so it's a framework story. So then it goes into his backstory. This guy was a soldier for the rebellion on Hoth. And he's in the trenches next to his best friend. The invasion of Hoth happens. And his friend gets killed right next to him. And he gets captured. And then this is the bulk of the piece. He gets captured and interrogated and tortured and held there on Hoth. And the rebels have all evacuated. He eventually makes his escape, manages to get some equipment culled together where he can start listening to rebel transmissions and stuff. And then he hears the words, anything left behind is deemed non-essential. And he's like, shit, they're not coming for me. And that's how he learns to hate the rebellion. He already hates the Empire because they have messed with him.
Yeah.
And then he has to figure himself out a way to get off of Hoth. And that story, it's kind of, it was actually, it was inspired of all things by a Chuck Norris movie called Mission Impossible that was about Vietnam POWs.
Okay.
And I remember as a kid, I think I watched Mission Impossible around 1988, 1989 or something like that. And I remember thinking, man, I bet the rebels left POWs on Hoth. What would one of those guys turn out like? So, I've got a script written for it that is really tight. And I do, I have a long background in CGI and all that stuff.
And storyboarding sounds like that you set up a perfect intro.
It's
all the visuals to bring you in, and I love that. Yeah,
it's tight, and I am more than likely going to end up marrying off. This is one of those things that's hard for me with people when the discussions of AI come up, because so there's the other side of my life that's a CG guy.
Yeah, and that's all.
And CG guys, a lot of CG guys out there, they don't hate on AI. They're like, oh, cool. How can we use this?
Yeah. How can we make our job faster?
I mean, there are interesting pipelines that I've seen where we're able to feed the 3D models, animate stuff in 3D And then instead of having to wait for these slow ass render engines we've always had to use to render, you pipe that feed through a capture source that sends it through AI, and AI does the rendering. And I'm like, holy crap, this speeds all of this up, like speeds it up almost to real time. And you can't hate on it because it just looks so good. The ability to, like, say, take there's a female character in the story, and I'll probably, even though I don't necessarily want the character to look like my wife, I'll probably have my wife do some of the role, and then basically take that and use her to drive an AI performer. There's all kinds of different stuff in there when you get into like stuff with AI filmmaking, and it's just really interesting. I have a good friend of mine who's an indie filmmaker who is all about it. So, and that's where I've been
some really interesting things where you can literally just film yourself in the back and it like changes the whole entire thing. Like, man, the AI is a tough subject in our world, right? But
Disney is getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah, right.
Because like seriously, right now I can go to YouTube and pick up 4 different channels that all they do is AI generated. And well, it's not AI. There's a lot more to it. People are, it's AI generated. No, you didn't just tell it to generate this and it did it. There's a lot more work to it than that. And there are these channels that are doing
the good stuff, at least. Yeah, not the
like I can pull up easily 3 times the amount of killer Star Wars content on a weekly basis, brand new stuff, or maybe bi-weekly, brand new stuff that Disney can't touch, and is actually true to the franchise in a way that Disney obviously had no intention to be.
Interesting.
So I'm just like, power to the fans, man.
Listen, AI is a touchy subject, but it's here and we got to deal with it. And
it's like figure out where you can fit it into your life, and it's like I let it post out for me. I let it take over that stuff for me. I let it take over my scheduling my list and making those, prioritizing those things, and that's what I let it do. I let it, I enter all that stuff. Like, I have to have books, right? So I let it handle my books. We have some people who do our stuff, and they use QuickBooks, and QuickBooks has all kinds of really fun stuff that you use that makes your stuff fast, and I just let them work. Here's my criteria for it. Is this a job I should be doing myself, or is this a job that I would have an intern or a non-paid assistant do? Oh, well, then there you go. I mean, that just kind of settles it. It blows my mind. Like, I get a lot of the argument. There are lots of valid arguments and people make and things like that. But a lot of times I hear those arguments being made with big blanket statements, and I'm like, y'all are using it whether you are or not. I mean, it's like, you're online. If you're on the internet now, you're using it. You can't get away from it. So, but it's just funny. Yeah. Like, specifically, the area that I really am interested in with it is filmmaking, because some of the stuff that tests and things that I've seen from this friend of mine is just remarkable stuff, and it levels the playing field in a really wild way, so that people who Hollywood would never give a sniff of a chance to can still make some things and put their stories out there and get them out in a way that's meaningful. I see a real positive side to all that.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to move with the times and like you said, find where you fit in this ever changing industry, right? It's
I mean, you see all the stuff behind me. Like I'm always slinging paint, slinging pencils, slinging ink, doing all that. But the modern tools are the modern tools, and it's like I got into comics right as digital pre-press was happening.
Yeah.
And I remember the old guys then talking about, this digital stuff, blah, 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 blah.
And now you can't find them. They're using it.
and it was like, that's not real, blah, 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 computers. and literally a lot of those dinosaurs having that attitude compared to guys who, I was young when that was happening. Guys like me back then who were like, dude, I'm going to figure this stuff out inside and out in every way I can. And we're the ones who took over. And so now, everybody's used to this digital world we live in. Well, they're not used to they're uncomfortable with the digital world that's coming from it. And if we don't adapt, we die. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. My light just turned off. I think I unplugged it.
I'm like, wait a minute. We got this. We're supposed to be having the power outages.
I know. I'm like, what the heck's going on? I turned off.
I was like, you're not in California where they got the rolling brownouts all the time.
I pushed a dang my dang thing and it turned off my light.
Yeah.
I can't turn it on now. Weird. That's my fault.
Well, dude, I have enjoyed chatting with you, man. It's been fun. Hope I didn't ramble too much.
Not at all, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys allowing me to be here, even though you can't see me.
Yeah, you and I, we gotta hook up on the socials afterwards, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hit me up. We'll talk some more. Thank you guys for allowing me, Rich. Thank you for hitting me up and letting me be here. And Jay, I appreciate everything you do, man. Thank you guys.
Cool. Jay's the MVP, man.
Oh, thank y'all. Real quick before we head out, just want to again thank you, Joey, for taking time out of your day to be here. Thank you, Les, for hosting, man. This was a great chat. I had a lot of fun back here listening to it. Stick around, folks. In about 20 minutes, we're going to have a 3-hour block of Miss Jen, starting off with Minute to Skim It. Then at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, it'll be tomorrow's Comics Tuesday. And then we're into the night tonight at 10 Eastern, 9 Central with Kicking It with Henri. So stick around.
Later, y'all.